Hey all, welcome back to GarageWorks. In this video, I'm going to do a bit more talking instead of just a big time-lapse video because I want to go over the rocker area. I found some issues with my rocker, you'll see. But just myself going through videos, no one really sat down and went over how the rocker's built, how they go together, what might be involved in tearing them apart. So I'm going to go through that and kind of bring you along for the ride, so to speak. So I'm going to go over the rockers and then I'm going to start fabbing some pieces. I don't know if I'll get to that this video. It might just be a quick talk on what I need to do and what I've seen now that I'm starting to tear into it. As I've mentioned before, the more I'm tearing in, the more I'm finding that there's areas I want to get into and I want to fix it. Yes, I could patch it, pour 15 it, and just call it a day, but I'm putting a lot of work into this car. I'm learning a lot of new skills, and the last thing I want is, 2-3 years down the road to look under a rocker and start to see bubbling or stuff like that. It's inevitable anyway because the car's so old. But, the more I replace now, the less I have to do later. So let's get going, and I'm going to show you where we are so far. All right, let's go. So after some time, I've created this piece that will fit right up in there fairly well. There we go. And down here. And then I started to look deeper at this rocker and realized I am going to cut it right out and replace it with a whole new rocker. So I've actually ordered both the passenger and driver side outer rocker. So all that time was for nothing. Not that it was a big job, but it was a waste of time. I started looking and I've realized that the whole rocker area right here down is actually a piece someone put on over top of the existing rocker. And looking on the inside through the dimples on the inner rocker, I can see right along this seam, I can see the metal the heat damage from welding the two pieces together. Not really damage, but you can see the heat marks all the way across. And it's the inner rocker that was there before was, of course, rusting out. So it's all underneath this is rusted. That rust has transferred to the inside of this new piece, with the front rusted as well and the top rusted on this. I figured, let's go with a brand new piece. I don't want to get this car all painted and then 2-3 years down the road start seeing bubbling all over the place. That would just drive me crazy. So I've ordered, I believe they're called the Tabco, company Tabco. They make a couple parts, dog legs and things like that. So I've ordered both the driver's and passenger side. A big thing worth me wanting to do both the drivers and passengers and deciding to go that route was I decided to walk over here to see how the rocker was, and all the hammering I've been doing on the passenger side, I came over here and noticed, what the hell, like, look at all this dirt. And I never really did take a very great look at the rocker underneath until last night, where you can see all of this. Like, look, I'm just pulling it back, it's not even attached anymore. This is all rusted. All this here, again, the inner rocker is probably still there and is all rusted. That rust has transferred to the skin that they put on, and now the skin is bubbling and rusting as well. So I've done both outers. The inner on this side is a lot better shape. I'll be able to clean this one up no problem with maybe 1 or 2 small patches to fix some areas. The other side is a little farther gone, but I will of course take care of it. So today I'm just going to continue on with the inner. You can see right here I've kind of marked this spot off. I want to take this out, fab a new piece. All this, I'll grind this down and see how thin it ends up getting. I've got this piece here, same thing. I want to cut this little patch out. I might not do these today. What I do want to concentrate on is getting this bottom section rebuilt so that I can put up do the floor pan. So I want to get this done, and then over on this side, as I've mentioned a couple, I want to pull out this pocket, get rid of all this. You can see there's some chewed through here. I don't know if that's when I pulled. Actually, no, there's a bit of rust there, and I can see there's a hole here. So I'll probably fab, and there's a hole there too. So I'm going to fab a new section here. Underneath this, the inner rocker goes past the pocket, and past the pocket it's actually rusted through. So when I get the pocket out, I'm going to take all this out and fill that with a square piece of metal behind it, seal it all up, and then put the pocket back in with all new metal down here. Then I can put the floor pan down and start to cut around and get the floor pan to mate up nice with this, and actually get the floor pan in eventually. That won't be today, but again, so I'm going to start on this and we'll go from there. So, doing a bit of work. Ooh. I'm going to show you. I'm hacking it up. So basically there's 3 layers in there I have to rebuild. The inner layer is the inner rocker, and then the middle layer is the wall that goes all the way down, and then the outer layer is the outer rocker. So right now I'm kind of half cardboard fabbing and metal fabbing some pieces. This is the lower part. Yeah, my welds are horrible, I know. I'm practicing as I go and slowly getting better. But basically, this piece will go up in here. Like so. I don't know if you can see that. And then I've got another piece cardboard cutted here, which will be the rest of the rocker. Basically this piece will meet up like so, right down there, as you can see. And then I've got, this is the section of the outer wall, the firewall on the passenger side. I want to add a bit extra more because I'm going to add a lip to weld to. I don't want to butt up weld because I blow through too easily. So I bought this flange and plug weld tool, which is going to come in handy. I can do all flanges, all plug welds for my welds. I think it'll be a little easier than butt welding. Like I said, I'm an amateur in welding and I blow through easy, so I think the butt welds will be a little, or the plug welds will be a little better. What else? Yeah. So, like I said, I'm just working. I'll show you this thing. So this one will go in here, right back in there, and fill up. I'm going to cut out all this rust right here. This is the part of the wall up here. So I'll cut out all that rust. That will go run along the bottom, right up in here, and unfortunately I'll have to butt weld that. Well, no, maybe not. I can flange weld it up like that. So that'll be the inner wall, and then that new piece of metal I put down there, and then another one up top. I didn't want to do all one piece because it's easier for me to just kind of tack weld a couple pieces together instead of trying to make all these crazy shapes. But yeah, so this hole, as per usual, you can see up in here, it is well gone. So I'll be slowly rebuilding that whole section. But my main concern is really to get the floor in before I really start cutting up high. I don't want this to bow out if it at all possible can. So I'll get the floor in, and I can, have the floor welded from side to side, and it'll hold this piece from kicking out. And then I can even get my frame rail in, and that'll strengthen this side up, which is a big thing I want to get done. At least by midsummer, I would like to get both sides done, and then get the engine out, and then roll it out and blast or sand all the paint off the body and see where I'm at. And then I can pull the car back in, then I'll do the rocker, most likely. Because everything here for the rocker is exposed. It's all spot welds all along here, all up in there. So that whole thing would come out. It's spot welded all along here. This is all rusted. It'll be easy to come off. And then from what I understand, this is where I'm kind of confused. This is the inner structure, and this here is the outer skin. So I'm pretty sure I have to cut at least the skin, to get the skin out, so I can get at the spot welds for the rest of the rocker, because they go back in. I'm pretty sure this outer rocker follows inside here and down, so I've got to get it all spot welded out. So I know for sure I've got to shing this off and then somehow put it back on, sand it, get it all welded and all that stuff. That's a while away though. Yeah, that's so far. Well, here we are now. My welding isn't the best, but it's on there. Did warp a bit this way. You can see right here there's a gap. I can heat that up and hammer that flat once I start to build this, so not that big of a deal. And then under there, I just put some primer under there. I'm gonna slowly just primer this section with this, not the weld through primer. This is direct to metal, so it etches, etching primer. There we go, self-etching primer, that's what I'm trying to say. So, but all in all, it's better than a rusty corner. So I still have the inside to do on the inner rocker. I gotta finish that up, but this is a good start. We're good. I'm gonna sand all this down and prime this whole corner. I know eventually I'll be welding and I'll have to grind some of the primer off, or some burn through might happen and I'll have to touch it up, but I want to get at it and get it sealed before it starts to rust. So for today I'm done. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll start grinding that up. So that's it for this video. We are starting. We're finally putting things back together. Everything so far I've just been tearing down, tearing out, throwing out. It's nice to actually start seeing parts of the car come back together. So next video is going to be more of the same. We're going to get that passenger side worked on so that we can get the floor pan in. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you guys can stay updated whenever I get a video out. And we will see you next video. Have a good one. Bye.